that volume, that new volume as a raw volume, and do not understand whatever you know, it will not allow you to write anything since it consider that as a raw volume. So what we have to do is, if we wanted to understand, like how whenever you do something in a computer, that the processor by default they understand everything by turning it into ones and zeros, right? So the similar way, when a volume is attached to a Linux machine, it needs to have a proper format in that volume. Then only when we put some data, it will be able to read it or recognized by this Linux machine, and we'll be able to see that. That is the reason why we create certain file system on the volume. With that file system, the volume will get recognized by Linux machine. And using cat command or touch command or VI editor, we are creating files and only files, not file systems. Okay. So these files are having some data that is, whatever the data we wanted to have, we wish to have, it's personal. It can be a personal information what you wanted to have, or it can be any file related to your project. But that file system MKFS is used to create a file system with respect to that your volume gets recognized by your server, Linux server. Clear?
Okay, so files and file systems are different, right?
Different, yes. Files are nothing but your data that can have any information, and file system is what which makes you recognize your your volume. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. What else? Yeah, I wanted to show you about security group inbound. So people are trying to launch instances using security groups inbound traffic custom to themselves. So I wanted to show you this. When you add, okay, I'm just adding temporarily. I'm not going to save it. See, if you take SSH and custom IP or your own IP, anything. Okay, if you wanted specifically launched by or that instance is launched by only you or somebody else specifically, you need to provide the IP address. My IP, when you give, it's automatically taking some IP address here, but that may not be your current local machine IP. Okay, how do I just get to know that? I'm just going to command prompt, say ipconfig. When you just enter ipconfig, here this is where you will be able to see the IPv4 IP address itself is the IP address for you. So this is the IP address provided over there. Yeah, not that, this. Ethernet. This 172.20.10.11 is the IP address, okay, IPv4 address to be given over there. But what are we having here? 106.220.54.18 or something it's given here. So you always have to be very careful from which location you are trying to launch your instance. If you are giving your, like my IP, it's taking some IP, so you have to check. You will be able to launch this instance, okay, this instance only from this IP address. And if you just select custom IP address, here you need to set the range of IP addresses you wanted to provide the access with. So the range of IP addresses, in the sense, this /0 will tell you the range, from which range to which range of IP addresses can launch your instance having this security group attached to it. So when you are trying something, okay, for the lab, better you play with anywhere, so that you'll not face any doubts, any issues. Of course, if you wanted to try, first you try this way, and next time when you're trying, then you try in all the possible ways, providing IP addresses, um, looking at your local IP address, your local Windows laptop or desktop, whatever it is, whatever you're using for your lab activities. So find out its IP address and then provide that IP address range so that you'll be able to launch that instance. Okay, so this way play safe. And what else? What I was trying? Instances. I'm not having any other doubts? And yeah, one more thing I wanted to tell you. I'm going to do the dashboard. Every region, okay, it has happened with somebody yesterday, and see all the 10 regions we have, and in all these 10 regions, every region will have a default VPC. This is where we create or we launch our instance. Fortunately or unfortunately, if you go delete this VPC, okay, this VPC, there is only one possibility that you can get this default VPC back. That's by contacting AWS people, AWS support people. So you need to raise a request with support center saying that the VPC got deleted with so and so region. Then they'll just look into your account and then get back to you with a new default VPC. So if that happens, unfortunately, okay, without your notice, then better you stop using that region, go to the other regions to perform your lab. Okay, so do that and do not delete any default things. Let default things be as usual. Now what else? Okay, let's go check. So far what we have done, we have launched a Linux instance, then created volumes attached to it. Then we played a little with attaching volumes and then writing some data into that in terms of files and folders of personal data. Then we extended that volume, by taking what to say, more amount of space into it. Okay, so we did all that. Now what do we do for today? We'll just see. I think we have also seen taking snapshots, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now can you just tell me the different type of volumes we have?
Class of
What are the different type of volumes we have?
magnetic,
Okay.
general purpose,
Yes. And then? One more? Any other? Magnetic, general purpose SSD, and then there is another one. Guys, please answer me. If not, if you have any doubt, you ask me, very clarify. Is there anybody who can tell me the other volume? Nobody? Which means you want me to say, or you? See, for now I'll tell you. There are three different type of volumes. Those are magnetic, general purpose SSD, and provision IOPS. Okay. Magnetic volumes will not have any throughput. If you decide that your data only need to be saved in that volume but not accessed by somebody, and you wanted to, you worried about your budget and wanted to save some, wanted to pay or have a low price volume, then we'll be going to magnetic volume. And of course you have your data accessed by people or your organization people or your friends, anything, then in that situation, when it is accessed by very few people, are you are okay with low throughput or some normal throughput, then we will be going through general purpose SSD, and this general purpose SSD, will have 3 dedicated IOPS per gigabyte. Okay, and it can burst up to 3000 IOPS per gigabyte at the time, based on the level of access or load hitting to that particular data. And it can work up to 10,000 IOPS. What if you wanted more than 10,000 IOPS to your data which accessed by people? Okay, then you need to go with provision IOPS type of volume. There you can have, you know, uh, 20,000 up to 20,000 IOPS allocated to your data, which can be accessed very faster. You clear with that? So today, first we'll try to, as we have planned, we will go and check AMIs, creating AMIs, and see how these AMIs work. Okay, and not only that, we will also check launching a Windows machine. Fine. So first, let's go and launch a Windows machine. Then see, because launching a Windows machine is slightly different. Of course, the process is same, but connecting to it is little different. Now I'm just going to launch an instance. So how do I go for a Windows instance? All these days, all these number of times we launched our instance, we have selected Amazon Linux AMI. Of course, that's what we generally do go with. When you wanted to launch a Windows machine, okay, this is the AMI we select with Microsoft Windows Server, and make sure that it is a free tier eligible 2012 R2 based server, which is of 64 bits. So I'm going with this. Then of course let it be a T2 micro only, which is our eligibility. And okay, nothing I'm going to change here in this. Let everything be as usual. Add storage. See here, by default it needs a volume, and that volume is a snapshot of 30 gigabytes. So minimum 30 gigabytes of root volume is taken, and that's our limit. So don't go and add something. If you wanted, okay, I'm actually, I wanted to test something, so I'm going to add another couple of volumes. So I'm going to add another 3 volumes. Fine. So what are they? 10 gigabytes I'll take. And when you do this, okay, please delete this instance on the spot whenever it is possible, because we are taking the volumes more than we require. So we require only for 30 gigabytes of EBS general purpose SSD, but we are going more than that. But I wanted to, yeah.
Did you create those 3 EBS volumes, or did they come by default?
Can you come again?
Here EBS 3 volumes are there, right? So did they come by default, or did you create it?
No, I have created. We will get only one root volume when we are trying to create our instance. Right, this is the default volume which we definitely get, because we wanted a volume to install our OS and all. Okay, when we take a Linux machine, we usually get with 8 gigabytes of volume, the root volume, SDA. You remember? Because
Yeah.
we get 8 gigabytes of volume there, because that AMI is created from a snapshot of 8 gigabytes. So that we get 8. And if you wanted to increase, you can increase, but not decrease, but not shrink it. And now today, this instance we are trying to launch is a Windows instance, Windows machine. Okay, and this Windows machine AMI is created from a snapshot of 30 gigabytes. So by default you can go with 30, not less than that. And
Okay.
I am adding, rather create this instance and go add, attach to that. Instead of doing that later on, I wanted to do something more. I wanted to show you something more. So purposefully, I'm adding few more volumes here itself, additionally, by myself. Okay, so add
Okay.
volume, add volume, and add volume. So 3 volumes I'm adding. Then each I'm going with 10 gigabytes. Just for some, it's something I wanted to show you. So I'm just taking this. Okay, so then go chat, and this is what my Windows server. Then what do I do? I'll select the existing security group. Warning, you will not be able to connect to this instance as AMI requires port number 3389. Why 3389 is needed? Can anybody tell me? Yes?
Windows Mission.
Yes, we are trying to launch a Windows machine, and how do we connect Windows machine? A remote Windows machine. Can we connect it to a remote Windows machine using port number 2240? Not,
No, not
not
possible.
possible. Not possible, right? So how do we connect? Open run mode and then type mstsc. That will take you to RDP, remote desktop connection. So that we have to do, and that remote desktop connection works on port number 3389. That needs to be enabled in your inbound. So we can of course do it later on. Your current security group doesn't have port number 338 open. Okay, not a problem. I'll just do it later on whenever I want it. And these are the two, warnings I'm given with. Your instance configuration is not eligible for the free tier usage. It's because we have taken huge amount of volume for more than free tier eligibility. So that's what this warning is given. Improve your instance security. The security group SG is open to the world. So that's what, but not an issue. I'm just doing it. I'm doing it for my practice purpose. I'm going to delete soon after I'm done with my practice. Fine. You always have to, attach a key pair, whatever may be the type of instance you're launching. I've acknowledged it. And now tell me, this is a Windows instance, right? So when this is a Windows instance and my laptop OS is also Windows, now what type of key pair do I require?
PM.
.pm format pair is needed. So right, say OS, similar OS, same OS, when you have trying to launch .pm format key pair is used. Fine, it is pending. Till then it gets ready, I'll go edit my security group. So this is the default security group, which means so RDP port number 3389 works with RDP, right? So come down, find out where RDP is. This is RDP, so 3389, right? I'm going with anywhere so that I do not have any issues to launching it or connecting to this server. Save. Okay. Now you see, it is slightly different connecting this instance, this Windows machine. How? Let's see here. Of course, it's running. For a normal Linux machine, when we wanted to connect, we go to putty and paste our private IP as a public IP address in that. Then go to SSH auth. There we browse for our private key pair, provide it, attach, then go connect. That's how finished. We provide the EC2 user as username and no password. It will directly allow you to connect to that instance. But here, how do we authenticate ourselves? Where do we provide our, this one, key pair? That's possibly done to create a password. So what I'm doing is, I'm taking the public IP, copied it. Okay, going for MSTST. Here I'm pasting it. Okay, connecting. When I say connect, it is directly taking me to, type my password if I'm logging as Mohanian. If not, you have to give username and password. So where do we have a username and password? If it is Linux, we have a username, that's all, but we don't have password, and that worked out. But if it is Windows machine, we also needed a password. So how do we get this password? We have to, generate it. How do we generate it? Let's see. So to generate the password, what you have to do, you should select this server, go to actions, then get Windows password is the option you have to select. And it will ask you to, attach your key pair here. So how do you attach? You go with choose file, that key pair path, wherever you have your key pair, go to downloads, PEM formats. That's what the key pair we have attached, right? Open. And it must be, uh, when you are trying to create a Windows password, and the key pair attached should begin with this phrase, begin RSA private key. This must be seen, and that's seen by attaching a PM format key pair. Okay, fine, it's fine. Now say decrypt password. When you say decrypt password, this is what the link to access your server. It's not simply your public IP, but you better access your connect your server using this link. So I've copied it, going to paste it here, connect, going to use another account. What's the username? Username is administrator, that is by default. To connect it to a Windows machine, the username is by default administrator. So paste it, then password we need it, copy as it is, copy and paste it there. So this is how you have to connect to a Windows machine. Say yes. Fine. We are trying to log into it. Meanwhile, I'll close it and then go launch another one. Okay, I'll go launch another instance for our AMI purpose. Selecting Linux AMI, configure, yes, configure, yes, test server, something like that, I'll just say. Again, I'll tell you why this is launched here, but fine, not an issue. So see here, so this server is still getting ready. It's pending. Let's see. Now, do you have any idea about, anybody having any idea about RAID levels?
No, sir.
Fine.
No idea.
Not an issue, not an issue, I'll tell you. So first thing, why do we have these RAID levels? In our, servers or data redundancy. Redundancy is nothing but the availability and securing our data is known as redundancy. How frequently you are able to access your data and how secure your data is. So that's what stands for redundancy. And to have a proper high redundancy, we go for RAID levels. And we have many RAID levels under that. write 0, write 1, write 5, write 10 and all. So not to worry, these are the things I'll tell you what they are, and then understand. Any doubt you have, you can clarify that. Once you're okay, we will just go and see how we can do that for on our Windows machine. So first one, as I said, write 0. Okay, let me take a notepad. So as I said, write 0. What's for this write 0 used? It is actually known as striped. Okay, striped, which means it doesn't have any redundancy. Okay, no redundancy, which means you may not have high security for this data, but it will give you a high performance. But good performance. Okay, so this is what write 0 stands for, and it must require minimum of 2 volumes. So what happens is, okay, when you stripe your 2 volumes into one, okay, into one volume, your read IO operations will increase, so that the performance will be increased, the throughput will be increased. So whatever the data you're trying to write onto that particular striped volume, then you will be able to write it faster as possible, and then also you can access. So that's how you can achieve a better performance from write 0, but no redundancy. You cannot, secure your data. There may not be a chance. Of course, it is not that you lose your data, but may not be that secured. And write 1, what's write 1? I'll tell you, try to understand. The write 1 is generally known as mirroring. Okay, in real time you need to understand all this. So what's mirroring? If you are doing Linux, if you are going to learn Linux and all, this will be taught again in that. Okay, so what's mirroring? Mirroring is nothing but whatever the data you have, okay, that will be by default. Just a moment. Just give me a second. Yeah. Mirroring will have redundancy. So what's mirroring? Mirroring is nothing but you will have 3 volumes, okay, and in these 3 volumes the parity bit will be written. Parity bit is maintained. How is that possible? Okay, so whatever the data you write, there will be 2 volumes taken for this mirroring also, minimum. Whenever you write something, okay, for example, you are going to write a word saying what, for example, okay, hello is the word you're trying to write. When you're trying to write this hello word and having 2 volumes, okay, if you have 2 volumes and onto these 2 volumes you're trying to write your word hello, then how does it write? First it writes H in the first volume, E in the other volume, L in the first volume again, another L will be in the other volume, then O comes back to your first volume, which means it will have data copied onto the other things and current. So both the volumes, the data will be distributed. When something goes wrong with one volume, your other volume still be able to get your data. It will have your data and you can safeguard it. That's what mirroring. And another way, it can also does like this. So two volumes you have, whatever the data you write, okay, on volume A, the same volume, same data will be replicated onto volume B. So it is, that's how your data is highly redundant. If one volume goes wrong or corrupted or something wrong happens with that, then you can still get your data from another volume. That's what write one does. And what if you wanted, here we did not speak anything about performance. Okay, so what if you wanted together performance and as well as high redundancy? Then we go with another one, RAID 5. So this is what the next one which we go with. So the RAID 5 is good for reads but bad for writing. How is it bad for writing? First let's understand the good things about it. So it is good for reading, okay, and not only that, it is very much good for our data redundancy. But why is it difficult for writing? Come again. And for this write 5, which must require 3 volumes, minimum of 3 volumes, whereas write 0, write 1 can have minimum of 2 volumes, but write 5 should have 3 volumes minimum. So when you have 3 volumes, okay, what it happens is the same word you are trying to write onto those 3 volumes. First H will go to volume 1, E will go to volume 2, okay, then volume 3 will have the parity bit of these two words H, E. It's nothing but the address of H, the first alphabet in the word, and the second alphabet in the word address. These two alphabets address parity bit we say is maintained in the third volume along with, okay, along with another word, the third alphabet L in the third volume. So the parity bit is nothing but the address or location of first two alphabet H and E will be maintained. Along with that, the third alphabet L will be written onto third volume. I'll tell you why it is written like that. And then another L, the fourth alphabet will come back to first volume again. Okay. Then the second volume will have the parity bit of the third alphabet and the fourth alphabet. The third alphabet which is written on volume 3 and fourth alphabet which is written on volume 1. Both these alphabets address is maintained. The parity bit is maintained on volume 2. Then another fifth letter is written onto volume 2. So why do we maintain this parity bit? It's because if you lose one volume or two volumes, even if you lose both the volumes out of 3, 2 volumes out of 3, you can still be able to get or retrieve this data using those parity bits. So the parity bit will provide you the address of all the alphabets. Using that you can just reconfigure all your data and then your data is safe. It's highly redundant and you can read the data very quickly, but writing is difficult because it's writing like this. So this is the way it writes the data. Okay, so this is write 5. Have a little idea, not an issue. You need not to remember or you need not to have in-depth knowledge about this, because this is probably taught or discussed even more clearly when you learn Linux. But now what do we do is, here in our server, see our server is ready now. Within how quick, within what time we are able to launch a Windows machine. Now this can be used as your local or your laptop. Alright, you have everything. Let's go to our computer, my computer, and check what and all the drives. So the additional volumes which we have attached here will be seen as drives. So the root volume, which is of minimum 30 gigabytes, okay, where your configurational stuff is installed. Then 3 volumes which we have taken additionally, those are named as volume D, volume E, volume F. Okay, so these are the 3 volumes. Now your computer is ready, you wanted to use that, you can use in any possible way. Clear? So what we do is, let's see how this RAID configuration is done. Okay, to do that, what do? We just go to, I'm just cancelling this. Go right click on your Windows button. Okay, in that go to disk management. Once you go to disk management, you will be able to see all of your disks here. Okay, so what do we do here in all these disks? We will be deleting all of them except for C drive. So select, right click, okay, delete volume. When I say it will get deleted temporarily but not permanently, I mean it will not be recognized by the OS, but it will still be existing. What is the purpose of deleting all these things? Let me show you, because I'm just going to create write volumes. Consider all this into either striping or mirroring. So that is the one I wanted to show you guys here. So yes, fine, we could able to delete all of them. Now go select any of that and right click. Then once you right click, you will find all the options here. What you wanted to do? You wanted to stripe the volumes, or you wanted to mirror the volumes, or you wanted to go with write file. I'll just go with a simple one, the basic one, that's striping. So go to the next one. Yes, I have to move all of them. Go disk, disk 1 I've selected. Disk 2 and 3 also I'm going to select. You can have any number of volumes attached to that striping purpose. Yes, I've taken all of my drives. Okay, and what is the drive name you wanted to give, whether D drive or E drive, which is the name, whatever the name you wanted to give, you can just give. Then next, so perform a quick format. When we say go next and configure, by defaultly it will format all the data. So you have to be little careful, when you are going to turn all of your drives into right levels. You should be very careful that your file systems will be formatted, so you have to take a backup of that. Perform a quick format, and then if you wanted, you can just go for enable file and folder compression. Restore, let things be as usual. Next, then finish. See, it's giving a little one. The operation you selected will convert the selected basic drives to dynamic. If you convert the disk to dynamic, you will not be able to start install operating systems from any volumes onto the disk. Of course, I don't want it because I have not included my C drive to that. So when I say yes, now you see the striping is working. After this is done, see all of them are striped. The striping is done. Now if you go and check my computer, you will be able to see only one drive But what is its capacity? Earlier we had three different types, DEF, each of 10 gigabytes. Now, since we have striped all of them into one particular drive, it's showing only D drive. That's what the naming convention we have taken, and the capacity has raised to 30 gigabytes. You see. So anything you write will be distributed equally to all these three different volumes, disk 1, disk 2, disk 3. You clear with this? So we have seen how to launch a Windows instance and how to configure a RAID level onto that. Are you all clear with that? How many RAID levels we
Yes.
have?
3.
Okay. I have just discussed only 3, but
Right.
there are few more. What are they? Can you just list whatever the 3 RAID levels we have discussed so far?
RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5.
Okay. How many disks we minimum required for RAID 5?
3,
Minimum 3 disks we wanted. And for RAID 0 and RAID 1 minimum?
2.
2.
Fantastic. Guys, please be interactive. There are only 2 guys. Okay. So fine, I wanted to show, but I have no use with this. I'm just, signing off from this. I will log off from this and go delete soon after you are done with. Then, okay, I'm done with my work. I just wanted to show you that thing with this Windows server. So I'm going to terminate this instance. And make sure when you terminate this instance, also make sure all the EBS volumes which we have created additionally should also be deleted, because that is the purpose. We are deleting it. We are not supposed to. We don't want it to pay anything additional. So let's go to volumes. Till then it's getting ready. It's getting deleted. Now you see these are the 3 different volumes. They are not, whichever is not having any snapshot ID or and you see the 10 gigabytes of space. These are the 3 different volumes which we have created. Additionally, go, okay, detach. Of course, once it is shut down, you no need to go with detach. But let's go. Now tell me, what is AMI? Okay, that is what I wanted to discuss with you now. What is AMI? Once you say what it is, we will see how to create it. Yes, anybody?
It's a package
AMI is a package. Anything? Any other answer?
of
Yes. What for we use that AMI?
to build to build an instance.
To build the instance, and that instance needed some softwares including OS. So for that purpose we select AMI. So AMI is nothing but it is image which has all the softwares needed to launch an instance. So that is what an AMI stands for. Okay, Amazon Machine Image. This is really very important to launch an instance, and that's basic. After once we discuss this, we will stop our class for today, and tomorrow we will be talking about the very important thing, that's load balancer. And once we are done with load balancing, next class we will see auto scaling. We are done with that. Our EC2 section is completed. Okay, so
Okay.
please be hands-on, practice everything then and there, day by day. So now let me discuss first thing, then I'll show you how to create. So AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image, and as I said, it's a pre-bundled configured software. It's an image which is used to launch an instance. We can launch multiple instances from an AMI once created. And why do we have to create an AMI? Of course, there are so many AMIs available. Okay. When we have so many AMIs already available, why do we have to create another one? It's basically like this. You have an organization having a website, okay, that rapid elasticity concept I'm going to discuss now, that usually comes or achieved by autoscaling. That's probably day after tomorrow's class. So how do we achieve that, the rapid elasticity? Okay, what do you mean by rapid elasticity? When your website is hitting more site without more requests, hitting by more requests, and having no estimation how many number of requests going to hit your website, it is highly difficult for us to frame our infrastructure with number of servers needed. So without knowing number of requests hitting to our website, we cannot frame how many servers, we cannot estimate how many servers we needed. That is the reason why we go for rapid auto scaling. But when we go to auto scaling, of course auto scaling auto scaling spin up the instances and spin down the instances based on the load hitting to our website. If the load is increasing, then automatically it increases the spin of the instances. And when it notices that there are instances being idle, not being utilized, then it will go terminate those instances. But now let's discuss about spinning up instances. When it spin up the instances, which means when it create the instance, okay, when it create the instance, you have to be very careful that when you have a machine, you have a laptop, it's not only OS and all the supported softwares which comes with the laptop or which comes basically with a standard AMI which are available, but you may also require something else, and on top of that you should have your web application installed into that. All right, then only you will be able to serve people so that they can access that web server. It's not that whatever the AMI we have taken has that all the web applications which we have which support for our website so that people can communicate. This is the reason why we wanted another AMI specifically created. So we are not enough, or these AMIs are not sufficient for us to launch instances and make them live for a production on the spot. If we depend on these predefined AMIs, what we have to do, once an instance is created, we again manually have to go install all the Apache server and web pages created in that default root directory where www HTML. Then people will be able to access them. But it will take some time, right? Once your instance is launched, you manually connect to that and then create a web server, again launch, install web server into that and all. So what if you take one server, install everything you wanted, create everything you wanted, okay, and it's ready for your live production. In that moment, at that moment, you take the AMI of that particular server. Once you take the AMI of that particular server, which is ready for your live production, and in the future using auto scaling, if you notify auto scaling that you create my servers using my this specified AMI, then automatically it will create instances, okay, which are ready-madely used within no time for our live production, because the servers when experiencing load, when request size is increasing, they wanted some servers backup on the spot. So for that purpose, when we wanted to have servers installed and up and running and ready for our live production in no time, within no time or in couple of minutes, then we wanted specific AMIs to be created for our own purpose. Are we clear with that? That is the reason why we go for AMIs and then create them and then we use for our future purpose to launch instances suitable for our environment and all the software installed into that. So first point, we can launch any number of instances from an AMI. That's what multiple instances from an AMI, and it's actually a template for the root volume. Okay, that's what we have seen. Whenever we select an AMI, that will probably created by a snapshot, and based on that snapshot we defaultly get a volume attached to our instance. We have seen, right? If it is a Linux machine, it will have 8 gigabytes of volume attached, that is as root volume, and if it is a Windows machine, it will have 30 gigabytes of root volume attached to it by default. So it is AMI is a template for the root volume. What is AMI? It is what it is. What is an AMI?
It's a template for root volume.
So the template will have all the applications, OS and softwares installed into it ready-madely. So AMIs are, remember, anything in this EC2, whatever we discuss in this EC2 is region based. What do you mean by region based? Whatever you create, okay, for example, now we are currently in Sydney region, so anything you create, security group, a volume, or instances, and even AMIs, of course, including key pairs, everything are specific to this Sydney region only. You create a key pair and you want it to use across the regions, it's not possible. You create a volume, you want it to use it across the regions, not possible. In the same way, AMIs and instances also region based only. So whatever the region, whichever the region you create them, in the same region you will be able to use them. You wanted to use in another region, multiple regions, then what you have to do, like we have seen copying snapshots from one region to another region, we also have to copy these AMIs from one region to another region, and that's not possible with volumes, key pairs, security groups and instances. Copying is not possible with them. What you can copy is, you can copy your snapshots and you can also copy your AMIs. AMI is nothing but simply a snapshot, you can just say. It's a copy. Okay, and we can launch an AMI from the region in which it is stored. Okay, you will be able to launch instances from an AMI, whichever the region it is stored. That's why I said it is region based, specific to a particular region. And when you wanted to, use or launch instances similar to this, then what you have to do in another region, what we have to do, we should copy that AMI to other regions, and with respect to that we can also launch instances similar to this in other region based on the copied AMI. Then excuse me. Now let's go and see. As I said, okay, AMIs are of two different types. EBS backed AMI and instance stored volumes. So what are the differences with respect to instance stored volumes and EBS backed AMIs? Instance stored volume is nothing but when you take an AMI of your running instance, then that will become instance stored AMI. If not that, see, this instance has a root volume which is used for configurational stuff installing onto that, and any additional softwares you install, Apache and all, will be installed in this root volume only. So instead of taking an AMI or creating an AMI of your instance, if you create an AMI of this EBS volume, then that becomes an EBS backed AMI. So these are the two different type of AMIs we have. Okay, so you wanted to create an AMI from your EBS volume, then you go select that, go to actions, okay, then create a snapshot. That is compulsory. From that snapshot we will be able to do. Okay, AMIs are created from snapshot. Hope you have an idea that while launching an instance, that 8 gigabytes of volume is, you know, from a snapshot. That you can see that even here also. So it is created from this snapshot. So now you have to take a snapshot of this. From that snapshot you will be able to create AMI. So I'll just say snap a little change in my description for AMI. I'll just say like that. Create. First time it probably take, yeah, it has created so soon because there is nothing in that. Go to snapshots. The snapshot is created. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll have, okay, if you wanted to create an instance called AMI, what do? Select that instance, go to actions, okay, say create an image. Once you say create an image, it will automatically create an AMI, Amazon Machine Image. Create an image stands for Amazon Machine Image. And this will create another snapshot by default. Let's check that. So create an image, I'm just texting. So what is the name of that image you wanted to give? My AMI. This is the name I'm just giving. Description also same. Okay. Wanted a reboot to be required using this AMI. I don't wanted any reboot. And you wanted, okay, what is the volume it is having? By defaultly this volume is, this AMI has 8 gigabytes of volume. You wanted additional volumes to be attached to this AMI, so that you, when you use not only this 8 gigabytes of volume, by default whenever any number of volumes you take will be created when you create or launch an instance using this AMI. But I'm not going for anything initially. Let it be so simple. So create image request received, view pending image. You can just, you wanted to do that, you can just, any snapshot backing your new EBS image can be managed on the snapshot screen. Okay, let's see. Now go to snapshots. We'll have one is getting ready, and it should be one more. Let's see. And you know the possibility is, once you create your volume, your AMI, it's not only for you. You can also have an option. That option is, you know, you can keep this AMI in the public place so that somebody else can use this AMI to launch instances. Okay, so you can play around, let our image gets created. Then go to AMIs. Yeah, this is. You see, one AMI is created. Okay, that's from the instance whichever we have created. My Linux AMI, that is the name we have given. So let's name this as an additional tagging instance. instance stored AMI. Going to snapshot. You see, it has two snapshots. So remember, whenever you are creating an AMI, that AMI must needed a snapshot created. When it is an instance stored AMI, it will directly create, a snapshot here. This is here for us. And one more, an EBS backed AMI, we manually ourselves have to create a snapshot, and from that snapshot we'll be able to create an image. So here you see, this is what an AMI. Create image so that it will take you. Now you see how many options we have given with. So name this as my Linux EBS AMI, I say, or simply I'll say my AMI, so that will not have any confusion. And this, I'll just give a description as EBS AMI, and you can still discuss about its architecture, what architecture it should have, virtualization, whether it is para virtualization or hardware virtual machine, HVM, what virtualization you wanted to have, you can select that. You wanted to have a kernel ID, you can just have, but I'm not going to change anything. I'm just keeping everything as simple as that, not to have any confusion. You wanted to add additional volumes, so when you launch an instance using this AMI, they will be directly having additional volumes based on this. So I'm fine, I'm not having anything additionally. Let's keep things very simple. Go to AMIs. Now you have two different AMIs. One is EBS backed AMI and the other one is instance backed AMI. What is the major difference? What is the difference between instance backed AMI and EBS backed AMI? Remember, the only difference is, if it is an instance backed AMI, okay, if it is an instance backed AMI, you will be able to take n number of volumes you wanted only while you launch an instance. After once the instance is launched, okay, the instance is launched from an instance stored AMI, you will not be able to attach additional volumes to that, additional EBS volumes to that, after once your instance is launched. But whereas EBS backed AMI, when you create an EBS backed AMI and launch an instance using EBS backed AMI, it's not only that you can take a number of volumes while you launch it, but even after launching is done, also provides you an option of, okay, attaching volumes to that. So what is the difference between instance backed AMI, instance stored AMI and EBS backed AMI? Can you?
Instance, we cannot add volumes after the instance is launched.
Okay.
In EBS we can add.
Are you clear, rest of the guys? So how many different type of AMIs we can create?
Two.
Two, what are they?
Two different types.
What are they?
Instant batch, EBS batch.
Instance stored AMI, EBS backed AMI. Okay. Now you see, now we are currently in AMI's, okay, location. You see both these AMIs. Yeah.
I got one. In instance backed AMI, why can't we go for general purpose to attach extra volume?
Additional volumes we cannot attach because the configuration is defined in such a way, it will allow you to add volumes while you create. Okay, but
Okay.
once after that is done, it is not possible to attach once you launch the instance, because the AMI whatever we have taken is created from an instance. Okay, but when you create from an EBS, then it will allow you to have that. I'll show you. I'll show you that. Now you see, these are the AMIs we have, and what are they? They are actually owned by me. Okay, by my account. You wanted to check public images, public AMIs. Let's see how many AMIs are available. It's not only that you have to use the predefined AMIs in Amazon or your own AMIs, but you can have n number of AMIs. I'll show you in a matter in a very next moment. Excuse me. But currently 1 to 50 AMIs are listed out. Okay, these are all public of different OSs. You wanted to filter them, you can filter them with all these possible IDs. You wanted to filter AMIs with kernel ID or AMI ID or its architecture, creation date, description, RAM disk ID, so many things you can filter all these things: source, status, virtualization type, and all, image type. And when you wanted to check private images, the private images are the images which are owned by you. Now what I'll do, I wanted to convert, okay, this EBS AMI to public. How do I do that? Go select that AMI, go to actions. Okay, after once you go to actions, modify image permissions. This is the tag you to go. Then here you can change its permissions, whether you wanted it to be private, or you wanted to share this AMI with any specific people, so that you just paste their account numbers here, or you wanted to make it public so that everybody can use this. Okay, save. Once you save, okay, this AMI should, oh, it's already public. It should be removed from this. You'll be able to see only one. So I'm refreshing my page. And in order to get back that, okay, what I'll do, I'll just launch an instance now. I'll show you one launch instance. Here, instead of going with a quick start, you can go with my AMIs if you have any AMIs created by you. So EBS AMI, my Linux AMI. So these are the two different type of AMIs we have created. So you can choose either of this. This is where you can have your AMIs. If not this, and you can also filter them whether 32-bit or 64-bit, owned by me or shared with me. If not that Amazon Marketplace, if you have an AMI created and you wanted to make money with that AMI, so you can just keep that in the marketplace so that somebody else use and then pay for that. And community AMIs, so you can also have your communities and play there. So people use that who are related to your community. So this is how you play. Now let's go my AMIs and check Linux AMI. I'll check. Okay, and let it be T2 micro. I'm not going to launch an instance, but I'll just show you something. I wanted to show you something here. This is the point you see. Your instance will be launched with the following storage device setting. You can attach additional EBS volumes and instance stored volumes to your instance, or edit the settings of the root volume. You can also attach additional EBS volumes after launching an instance, but not instance store volumes. Okay? So, but not instance store volumes. You cannot attach instance store volumes to that. About storage options in Amazon EC2, we have to go here and then you will have all the clear information. So this is what I wanted to show you. When an instance is created from instance stored AMI, this instance stored volume will not be able to attach once after it is launched. While you launch, you will be able to, take any number. So that is what I wanted to show you. I'm cancelling that. Go to AMIs. You see you have only one in private, and if you go to owned by you see one is public and one is private. This is open to everybody so that anybody can use, and this is only for you. Fine, are you clear with all these things?
Yes.
Yes, if that's fine, I'm going to end up this session for today. So understand one more thing, there are two different type of AMIs we have. One is EBS backed, okay, AMI, and the other one instance stored AMI.
So you did, first of all, you launched the instance and you took a snapshot of the instance and you built two instances, EBS and instance. That's it you did?
Yeah, what I've done is, let me come back again and show you. To create an instance stored AMI, okay, instance stored AMI, you go to instances, whichever the instance AMI you wanted to create, you select that, go to actions, image, create image. Once you say create image, okay, the image created over a running instance will create instance stored AMI. You clear with that?
Yeah.
But when you wanted to create EBS backed AMI, here in this instance stored AMI, you need not to create any snapshots manually, but by default it will create a snapshot for you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the snapshot created by create image. So we only said create image. This create image has created a snapshot for us, and that is for AMI. It is mentioned for AMI so and so. But when you wanted to create an EBS backed AMI, you should go to your volumes, select the volume, whichever the volume you have to consider for creating your EBS backed AMI. That volume's snapshot should be created by you manually, then only it will allow you. You cannot directly go create an image of your EBS volume. You have to create a snapshot. Okay, that will allow you to create an image that will be, okay, this is the snapshot, snap for AMI. I have taken the description. Then go to actions. Here it will allow you to go create an image. And image created from a snapshot of your EBS will be EBS backed AMI. You clear with that?
Yeah.
Okay, any doubt?
No, that's it.
Anybody else? Anything you wanted to clarify? Remember, if it is an instance backed AMI, okay, the instance stored volumes are attached only while launching instance, not after that. Okay. Then instance stored volumes are called ephemeral storage limited. Whereas EBS backed instances can be, they are stopped and started. EBS backed, yeah, this is another thing I wanted to discuss. So EBS backed AMI, okay, if you create an instance from EBS backed AMI, You can stop that instance and start it back because your data will be in the volume and it will be saved. So whenever you stop and start, you will still have your data. And as I said, your instance stored volumes are called ephemeral storage, which is nothing but you will not have any stop and start option. You directly have to terminate them and you lose your data. So that is another point you guys have to remember. Fine, if things are fine, clear, having no doubts, then I wanted to end up a session for today. And tomorrow it's very important that we are going to learn or check about load balancer. We will see what is load balancing and then how to create and understand all the parameters like we discussed about creating or launching an EC2. So please make sure you attend tomorrow and day after tomorrow for these two classes, which are really very important. And please practice all these things. Okay, you create an AMI on your own and then try launching an instance from that and check whether it's working fine or not. That's the task for you guys for today. Okay, you clear with that? Hello? Yes? Fine guys, if you have no doubt, I'm going to end up this session. But make sure you delete everything before you sign up from your account. Okay, then catch you tomorrow.
Bye. Good night, sir.
I hope there are no doubts for you guys, right?
No.
Okay.